But Samuel Proctor, channel member, that said one horrible example was when my film teacher showed us a Chinese movie about just a family doing things. There wasn't a story. It was just their life, forever in the ordinary world. Yeah, that's postmodernism. Postmodernism definitely seeped into filmmaking and television. And, maybe this is another layer to lay on here, but this is what ideologues love about this, because ideologues are trying to change the way you conceive of story so that they can find a way to better alter the platform to fit their ideology and their agenda and what they want to preach to you. So if they can get you away from the hero's journey, then stop you thinking about yourself and individualism, and start you thinking about the responsibility you have to the collective, that kind of thing. That's all about them. So if they can change stories to get away from that, they'll try to do that. Postmodernism is about doing away with structure. So any kind of arc, we don't want an arc. And you think about a character arc. There's a story arc, plot arc. But you think just about a character arc at the end of a story or a movie. You ask yourself, how did this character change? How did the events that happened in this movie or this TV episode or season of episodes or whatever, how did those events alter that character? How are they a different person now than they were at the beginning of the show? And they need to change. Things change them. Even aspirational heroes who don't need to overcome their darkness or anything like that, they still learn. They still have to go through things, and things do change them and whatnot. Not for the bad, but you need to see that in characters. And what does that require? That requires self-reflection. It requires reflection on an individual character, and then that inspires us to reflect on ourselves and reflect on our own stories. And hey, did we really process this correctly, or did we go through that well, or whatever? But if the storytellers don't want you to think about that, then they do away with character arcs and character progression and character development. So you have characters like Carol Danvers, who's just there to learn how amazing she always was. She doesn't have to do anything. She's a woman. She's a minority of sorts. That means she just has to realize that there was oppression around her, and that's not a story. That's not a story even for women watching that. I mean, what inspiration is there? The little, for a feminist watching that, yeah, that's right, I'm going to go out and fight the oppressors, the patriarchy or whatever. Okay, well, that's just a piece of propaganda then. That's the inspiration that a piece of propaganda gives you. It's not the inspiration that a good story is supposed to give you. A good story is supposed to resonate with you through the ages and speak to you in all stages of life. Final Fantasy fan says, I think modern writers took art imitates life and life feeds art the wrong way. Well, I mean, that's what the ideologues are doing, right? The ideologues, they realize that you go to stories are a place to dream. Stories are a place to reflect, because like I said, stories are inspirations for us to reflect on our own lives. So the story is going to be a place to see ideas and see experiences. There's going to be the catharsis. We're going to be able to feel things through a character story that maybe we can't fully feel in our own lives, or we're scared to fully access emotions or memories or whatever. Stories teach us how to reflect on our own lives so that we can go out and create our life to be a bit better, or create it anew. And the ideologues know that. They know that story influences life. As art imitates life to a certain degree and all of that. But they decide, so how do we use that to our advantage? They how do they want to remake the world in their own, dystopian, utopian image? Then they try to change your stories. They try to change the values that are in your stories. They try to change the trajectories of your stories. They try to change the focus of your stories. This is something Bob Iger just, bold-faced lies and says, we're not doing that. No, we're just, trying to be more inclusive. No, you're not. You're changing fundamentally from the ground up. And, that's the problem with call it what you want, wokeism, SJWism, whatever. They don't want the freedom to live their life the way they want. They need to insist upon and force you to approve of the choices they've made in their life. I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson, or Neil Tyson deGrasse, I always say his name wrong, but he used to be known for being a pretty smart guy, right? Known for his science. Now he's just known for being an arrogant prick. I mean, just constantly. Like, if you disagree with his vast wisdom, you are a troglodyte. I mean, there was some video he did a while ago talking about, the people who dare or too small-minded and pea-brained to understand that gender is a spectrum. He's like, what is it to you if I want to feel like I'm 80% a man today and the next day I'm 80% a woman? What is it to you? Hey, you can be whatever level of psychotic you want in your own life, but you have no right to demand that I accept your twisted view of gender or accept and agree with the fact that you're prancing around in a dress like a fool. I mean, you do what you want, but you have no right to come over here and demand that I accept it and approve of it. But that's what that they'll never be able to be happy until they have your validation, because it's not enough for them to make. They know that these truths, this gender is a spectrum, all this nonsense. They know that the world they're trying to envision is crap. They know it's BS. They know it's not true on some level. And then the only way they can better try to fool themselves into thinking it's true is by forcing you to constantly validate them in the lie that they're trying to perpetuate. Help us lie to ourselves. If you accept it, we'll more easily accept it. So that's why they'll never stop trying to make you approve of them, which is ridiculous. Studio 96, thank you very much, says that reminds 499 super chat there. Thank you. Says that reminds me of a Superman quote from Superman versus the Elite. Yeah, which one? There's so many. Oh, the one about dreams. I'll never stop dreaming. Dreams shape us. Dreams improve us. Yeah. Or you wrote it there. Dreams save us. They transform us into something better. Yeah. On my life, I'll never stop dreaming. Yeah, I love that. And it was I think that quote was in What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, the American Way, the comic as well. And they captured it well in the film. Comic Skater said, "Wonder how Neil would feel if I told him I felt the gravity was a spectrum." Yeah, it's bizarre, the things these people want to try to, force upon you and just demand that you believe. Oh, why aren't you believing this? $5 from my beautiful sound engraver. Says, that's what's so great about Stargate SG-1. It's the perfect blend of the episodic and the big picture. Episodes can start right at the action. Love it. Yeah, and if you dissect, I mean, even just what we've watched so far, so I don't put any spoilers here for Sound Engraver, we're on season 6 now, and you see the arcs in each season, the big bad guys, that they have to fight and whatnot. But there's definitely an arc in each episode, unless you have like an occasional 2-parter episode. Sure, you can have a to be continued or something to carry a longer arc over a couple of different episodes, but you don't do those too often. But yeah, you can do that. But yeah, you have it at the end of the season 4, I think. Season 5 was the only seasons that were on Showtime. That was all the seasons that Showtime had ordered when the show started. So they wrapped it up, and Michael Shanks wanted to leave and everything. So Daniel Jackson moved on or ascended, and but by that time, Earth was pretty well protected. By that time, you had the treaty with the Asgard and the Gould. You had the resolution of Shao-Ray. She was killed. Skara was rescued. That was good. So things that you'd set out, in the beginning, the inciting incident of the first pilot, were taken care of. And where do you go from there? Now, when season 6 was greenlit and they can move to the Sci-Fi Channel, then enters Anubis, this mysterious villain who they started to kind of lay the groundwork for in previous seasons. But again, that's where you take your B plot and develop it to the point where it can take over as your main plot, your A plot, later. And then Anubis has this new technology that kind of makes the treaty with the Asgard, sort of null and void, because he can get past their shields, and oh no, and then this is a new level of danger. So now we've got another arc that we're embarking on, which is great. That's just good storytelling. That's how to do it. Andre Hernandez says, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars had a pretty good, solid first part. Other parts made it better, but the first part really hooked you in. Yeah, Star Wars is a great example. Lucas really hoped he could make more movies, but he had to tell with Star Wars just a solid arc, and you've got a battle, it was over. You know that there's more to it. The whole war's not won, but a very important divisive strike or victory had been made by the Rebel Alliance to the Empire. And that's fine. That's great. Um, and then he was able to make more. So Empire Strikes Back was knowing that the series was going to get more, knowing he was going to have at least a full trilogy. Now you can make the second installment a bit more of a. There's still a good arc. There's a very good arc to Empire, but you can leave it on a more of a cliffhanger, knowing that you're definitely going to get that chance to tell a future story. So yeah, see this here. Talking about these scientists who go crazy. Yeah, Matthew Godet said Bill Nye went off the rails as well. Yeah, over global warming. Used to watch him in middle school. So yeah, a lot of these, because that was one of the that became the new religion of the ideologues. Science. We heard this during the pandemic. Follow the science. Follow the science. Uh, okay, well, let's follow actual science, not just what you say science is. But it was just that if it's science, it was to be unquestioned. Once upon a time, that was how religion, held tyranny, in different parts of the world or whatever, and allowed for no questions whatsoever. That's what they do with science now. And so yeah, a lot of famous scientists, they just feel that they get to waltz in with all their authority and say whatever crap they want to.